Hey guys, today we'll be doing something no one's ever done before. An iceberg video. But not just an iceberg video. A video about a massive SpongeBob iceberg. And this is going to be very fun and interesting. So without any further delay, let's dive in right now. This is the level at the very top of the iceberg, so a lot of these entries most of you will probably have heard about. At least, maybe, I think. I haven't really seen most of these entries yet. But as this video goes on, I'm expecting us to get into very niche territory. I am excited. Okay. Bikini Atoll. This is a very popular SpongeBob theory. People have often theorized that the island above Bikini Bottom in the show is canonically Bikini Atoll, an island that actually does exist and the American government used as a nuclear testing site between 1964 and 1958. And people think the advanced civilization of sea life in Bikini Bottom is a result of either nuclear explosions and stuff like that. Now, SpongeBob doesn't really have much continuity, but it has been confirmed that the island above Bikini Bottom is Bikini Atoll. So, the 7 deadly sins. This is another popular theory. Some people think the main characters in SpongeBob are supposed to represent the 7 deadly sins. SpongeBob, lust. Plankton, envy. Mr. Krabs, greed. Sandy, pride. Squidward, wrath. Gary, gluttony, and Patrick, sloth. Now, my biggest issue with this theory is you could technically argue Patrick would also be gluttony, because that basically means eating a lot, which is something he does do, but Patrick and Gary are related. This one isn't even a theory. Patrick and Gary are related. It was confirmed in the episode Rule of Dumb, Bikini Bottom Mysteries. This was a series on the official SpongeBob YouTube channel where each episode basically dived into theories about many of the characters in the show. It began in 2019 and the most recent episode of it came out in 2023. So yeah, this YouTube series probably isn't coming back. But it was pretty good while it lasted. Lego stop motion videos. Yes, there have been tons of people on YouTube who have made fan-made animations using Lego SpongeBob figures. The most prominent of these creators have been Lego SpongeBob, Crazy Films 1121, and Noah's Blobs. Some of these videos are actually pretty decent. Check them out if you're a SpongeBob fan. SpongeBoy. SpongeBoy was actually the original name of SpongeBob, but they ended up changing it to SpongeBob for copyright reasons. Pretty fun fact. King Neptune's design change. This most likely is about how, in the series, King Neptune is shown to have this character design, yet in the movie, he has a completely different one. According to Vincent Vallo, the current showrunner of SpongeBob, this is because at the time, there was a firewall between Nickelodeon and Paramount content, making it so the show couldn't use many assets from the movie, including Goofy Goobers and, yes, the movie design of King Neptune. The background characters. I mean, SpongeBob is a show that has a lot of background characters. I don't know what else I'm supposed to say about this entry. Maybe that some people have pointed out how the background characters are often very mean. I don't know. Chocolates. This was a pretty big meme from the episode Chocolate with Nuts, where a fish in the episode yells, "Chocolates!" This was another big meme, one that originated from the episode Something Smells. Good episode, by the way. Handsome Squidward. And another meme. 3 back to back. This one comes from the episode The Two Faces of Squidward, an episode about a head injury making Squidward handsome. You know, I know a thing or two about head injuries. This became such a big meme that the show actually referenced it years later and brought Handsome Squidward back in the episode Squidward's Sick Days. SpongeBob's age estimation. This has been a point for a lot of conversations and speculation for fans of the series, who have spent years trying to figure out how old SpongeBob is in the series. Rather than going into the many possible answers, I'm just gonna save you guys the time and say there is no answer. Because SpongeBob is a show that has no actual continuity, especially with Camp Coral, which completely screwed up any possible continuity the show might have had. But there is nothing wrong with headcanons and stuff like that. The Splinter. The Splinter is a season 6 episode about SpongeBob getting well, a splinter. And this is a very infamous episode, as many people hated it for how gross a lot of the visuals in the episode were. One of the most prominent critics of this episode was the YouTuber Mr. Ento. Honestly, I kinda like this episode. The visuals don't really bother me, but I do get why many people hate it. One course meal controversy. This is another infamous episode. The majority of its infamy comes from a scene where Plankton lays in the middle of the street waiting for a vehicle to run him over, which is definitely a pretty dark joke. A lot of people thought it was too dark for a kid's show, and I mean, yeah, it actually might be. I don't know. I don't have a strong position on this controversy either way, but I can definitely see why many people hate on this episode. A Day with SpongeBob SquarePants. Man, where do I even begin with this one? A Day with SpongeBob SquarePants is the name of an unofficial movie about SpongeBob that was apparently being distributed by a company named Regal Films. The movie never came out, but the following description for the movie could be found on the studio's website. In this mockumentary, SpongeBob lives above ground like all Hollywood superstars. Afraid that SpongeBob is becoming old news, his boss runs a contest called Spend a Day with SpongeBob. The contest makes SpongeBob the talk of the town, as thousands of kids enter to win. The lucky winner is Seth, and he is ecstatic about his day with SpongeBob. However, the day becomes a roller coaster ride, as things don't go quite the way they planned. There was also a DVD for the movie put on pre-sale on Amazon, and this cover went along with it. Now, it looks like an average DVD cover, but if you take a closer look, all of the quotes from the movie on the cover are from companies that don't even exist. And that kid in the picture is actually just a stock image, not even an actor from the movie. And to make things even better, apparently if you visit the Regal Films website, you will get a virus. Very nice, very nice. Now we are officially one level deeper into this iceberg, beginning with this next entry, Bob the Sponge. Finally, this is a topic I've been wanting to talk about on my channel for a while. Okay, so, the Intertidal Zone is a comic book that the creator of SpongeBob, Stephen Hillenburg, made back in 1989, 10 years before the show debuted. In an interview where he talked about the comic, he said, "I drew it while teaching at what is now called the Ocean Institute, to help explain the life of organisms living in tide pools along the Southern California coast in an entertaining way." The comic was hosted by two characters, a shrimp named Rocky and Bob the Sponge, who would eventually go on to become the character we all know, SpongeBob SquarePants. This comic used to be lost media, but then the entire comic was released on the internet back in April 2024, and you can check it out on Internet Archive, which I'll have linked in the description below, because it's actually so cool being able to see what was essentially the original SpongeBob. Plankton swearing. This one's about a clip of Mr. Lawrence, the guy who voices Plankton, that went pretty viral on YouTube, where he started swearing during an interview while talking in his Plankton voice. SpongeBob Ahoy. Now this was gonna be the original name of the series before they changed it to what it is today. Johnny Depp. This I believe is talking about an actually pretty awesome SpongeBob special, SpongeBob vs. the Big One. This was always one of my favorite specials when I was a kid. Anyways though, this SpongeBob special had a special guest voicing a character in it.
SpongeBob scored the biggest guest star ever, Johnny Depp.
I was born to do this.
Don't miss the brand new SpongeBob event, SpongeBob vs. the Big One, Friday, April 17th at 8.
SpongeBob homosexuality controversy. Apparently this one goes way back. In 2005, there was a huge controversy where multiple conservative Christian activist groups began claiming that SpongeBob and Patrick are gay and the show is pushing an agenda on kids. And some people still think that. And this is so stupid because the creator of SpongeBob has publicly said SpongeBob isn't gay, and he actually considers the character to be asexual. You know, like actual sea sponges. The perception of season 4 becoming appealing. After season 3 of SpongeBob, Stephen Hillenburg decided to step away from the show, or at least became less involved with it than he used to be. And the following seasons of the show, many people consider to have been a decline in quality. But some of those people have started saying that season 4 of SpongeBob was actually pretty good. And I agree. Barack Obama's favorite character. Bruh, I said I was done talking about politics on my channel. I'm just gonna make this quick. One time Obama said SpongeBob is his favorite cartoon character. Astrology with Squidward. This is like the third video I'm talking about this. Astrology with Squidward was a 6-episode-long series of animated shows that aired on TV over 20 years ago, which had Squidward talking about astrology. For a while, the only footage of the series available on the internet was old and pretty low quality, until the official SpongeBob YouTube channel uploaded a video in 2020 which had HD footage of every episode of Astrology with Squidward. I also made a YouTube channel where you can watch all of the episodes in HD. March 2018 Hoax. This was a hoax online that SpongeBob was going to be cancelled in March 2018. Obviously that never happened because the show is still going and it's now on season 15. Jimmy Neutron takes over Nick. This is like the first thing that I didn't really know much about on this iceberg. Apparently Jimmy Neutron takes over Nick was a programming event back in 2001 and 2002 where Jimmy Neutron would show up and kinda edit what's on the screen in some way. Most notably, this happens during the airing of multiple SpongeBob episodes, and 2 of those times they got swapped out with puppets. SpongeBob Super Bowl petition. In 2018, the creator of SpongeBob, Steven Hillenburg, passed away with ALS. To pay tribute to how much the show he created positively affected millions of people's childhoods, a big petition began online where SpongeBob fans were trying to get Sweet Victory played at the Super Bowl. It didn't necessarily happen, but there was a little SpongeBob animation that played on TV during the 2019 halftime show. Palestinian Krusty Krab. This was an unofficial Krusty Krab restaurant that opened up in Palestine in 2014. It was essentially a full-on recreation, and when I found out about it when I was a kid, I always wanted to go to it. It got shut down back in 2019, but I don't think you'd be able to go there now anyways. Thanks Israel, very cool. Shanghai, alternate endings. When the SpongeBob special Shanghai premiered back in 2001, it was a big event where there were additional patchy segments during the commercial breaks, and fans were able to vote on how the episode would end. All the alternate endings can still be viewed on YouTube. David Bowie's cameo. Okay, so get this. There was a SpongeBob special, Atlantis SquarePants, where pretty much every main character got to sing a song. They got the well-known David Bowie to voice a character in the special, but didn't have him sing anything. I don't get it. Now this one I'm not going to be able to pronounce very well. Yummo. This Nightmare Fuel is an unused character that can be found on one of the Mrs. Puff sprite sheets in the Krusty Krab in the 2019 online game SpongeBob Saves the Day. I Was a Teenage Gary deleted scene. In the season 1 episode I Was a Teenage Gary, we see SpongeBob transform into a snail. Squidward becomes a snail too, but we don't see his transformation into one like how we see SpongeBob's. But some people claim there was a deleted scene where we do actually see his transformation. I don't think there is one though. SpongeBob in real life. This is a fan-made YouTube series created by a guy known as J Chase Films, where SpongeBob characters interact with a live-action setting, kinda like Sonic in the Sonic movies. And it's actually a pretty visually impressive series. The dude is very talented. Robo Squidward. This was essentially a scrapped boss battle in the PS2 SpongeBob game Battle for Bikini Bottom. It never made it into the game, but it was in the GBA version of the game, and when Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated came out in 2020, the boss was included in a brand new multiplayer mode. One that kinda sucked. BFBB Unused Boss Phase. The final boss of the game I was just talking about is a giant robot SpongeBob who, in the boss battle, dons karate gloves. But originally, there was gonna be another phase of the boss battle involving him having ankle arms, from the season 1 episode Muscle Bob Buff Pants. BFBB Patrick's Dream Unused. In the game, there's a level where you travel to Patrick's Dream, and it's basically him standing in a black void and he just gives you a golden spatula, and it's pretty funny. But there was actually going to be a very different Patrick Dream level, which would have had platforms made out of candy, and Mrs. Puff seemingly was going to be in the level. BFBB Glove World. Unlike the previous unused levels which can be viewed by going into the files for the game, this one you can't. There's not even much information about this one. As far as I know, there was just a concept image for the game involving Glove World, which means the people who made it were probably probably considering adding it as a level. SpongeBob Pilot Intro. This is a pretty cool piece of SpongeBob history. The original 1997 version of the pilot, Help Wanted, had a completely different opening than what became the SpongeBob theme song we all know.
I'm ready.
SpongeBob SquarePants.
Reef Blower. This is a pretty notable season 1 episode because it was only a few minutes long and didn't have any spoken dialogue. This was because of production costs. Have a bowel, Mr. Squidward. Now this one is legendary. This is a reference to a pretty funny meme that originated from a fan-made SpongeBob cereal commercial that was uploaded to YouTube in 2014. And this is the section of the video that became a meme.
Have a bowl, Mr. Squidward.
My leg. Going all the way back to season 1, this has been a fan favorite gag for a while. Basically, something will happen and then someone in the background, usually a character named Fred, will yell, "My leg!" In season 11, there was even an entire episode about the gag, in which it was explained that Fred often intentionally gets himself injured because he has a crush on someone that works at the hospital. Red Mist. This was a supposed lost episode of SpongeBob. The episode is about Squidward performing at a concert, but then everyone in the crowd begins booing him. Squidward gets back home and is very sad. He's got bloodshot eyes. Then he picks up a GUN and self-deletes. The story of this lost episode was shared on the internet back in 2010 by someone who supposedly had an unpaid internship at Nickelodeon. Now, this episode never actually existed, as it is actually just a creepypasta. But it did actually get referenced in the season 12 episode, and ironically, that scene in the episode got edited out, almost becoming lost media, but you can still watch it on YouTube. The Krabby Patty Secret Formula. Krabby Patties are what they sell at the Krusty Krab, and in the universe that the show takes place in, every SpongeBob character is basically addicted to them. The entire society of Bikini Bottom lives off of Krabby Patties. So because of this, many fans over the years have wondered what the Krabby Patty secret formula is. Some people think the answer is drugs, which would make sense. Others believe maybe there is no secret formula, and what makes Krabby Patties so special is just the placebo effect. At the end of the day, Nickelodeon has never officially revealed what the secret formula is, and probably never will, so people will probably forever continue speculating. House Fancy Toenail Scene. Now this is about, in my opinion, and the opinion of many other people, one of the worst visual gags in SpongeBob. It's just way too graphic and unpleasant. We are 3 levels into this iceberg, and I feel like things are getting juicy now. Roger Bumpus arrested. Back in 2016, the voice actor of Squidward, Roger Bumpus, got DUI charges, which is basically driving while drunk. And look, it's been almost a decade, everyone has a moment they're not proud of, I'm not gonna judge him for it. Sailor Mouth Uncensored. In the episode Sailor Mouth, SpongeBob and Patrick start going around Bikini Bottom swearing, but whenever they say a swear, a dolphin sound plays instead, as a way to censor what they're saying. Now, apparently, the original audio of the episode had the voice actors actually swearing, not just pretending to swear, and apparently, some of that audio has actually leaked on the internet. I'm not gonna play it though in this video, because I don't want this video getting taken down, but it's pretty interesting. Spongehenge scaring kids. I couldn't find anything about this, but I guess this episode scared some kids. I don't know. Squidward's father. Squidward's father is depicted in the series as being someone who is into pranks, and therefore gets along very well with SpongeBob and Patrick. Unfortunately, though, he never hugged Squidward. Encino, California. This is where Apache the Pirate canonically lives, and like Bikini Atoll, it's an actual place. The mystery of Pearl's mother. Now, Mr. Krabs is a crab. Shocking, I know. But yet, his daughter, Paul, is a whale. And we have never seen the mother in the show, leading many fans to speculate about why and what happened. My favorite thing to come from this mystery has always been this fan-made comic, which is both sad but also pretty wholesome, as it shows that the mother was killed by the hooks, and Mr. Krabs, who is usually just shown as a greedy character who only cares about money, actually steps in and saves Paul from the hooks when she was a baby. Have you seen this snail? Original plot. In this episode, Gary runs away from home, and an old lady finds him and takes him in, begins feeding him non-stop, and he eventually finds a closet full of empty shells and escapes from the lady. The implication is that the old lady was stuffing him to eat him. Apparently, in the original version of the episode, this was gonna be an even more blatant and obvious plot point, and so that's implied. Stolen rooftop balloons. A couple decades ago. Crazy. There was a promotional thing involving 9-foot tall SpongeBob balloons being placed on top of Burger Kings, and back in 2004, they began disappearing. Someone was apparently stealing these giant balloons. The conspiracy theorist in me wants to say I feel like this might have been some type of marketing strategy, but I'm not actually saying it was, just a theory. The 2009 Burger King controversy. This one is funny. Back in 2009, there was an infamous Burger King SpongeBob commercial involving female backup dancers that are shown to have square-shaped butts. It's so strange that this commercial was even made. Honestly, I love it. Morning Glory. I didn't even know this before making this video. Apparently, this is a Ween song. You know, the guys who made Ocean Man. And so this was originally going to be played over the SpongeBob movie end credits before they decided to go with Ocean Man instead. Imagine a universe where the SpongeBob movie didn't end with Ocean Man. SpongeBob lost dubs. Audio dubs are basically voice acting in another language made for international audiences. And according to the internet, there was a huge list of SpongeBob audio dubs that are now lost. Just one bite. Deleted scene. This was a scene involving a match and gasoline catching Squidward on fire when he tries to break into the Krusty Krab. Apparently, the reason it got banned on TV was 9/11. That sounds like an edgy joke, but I am completely serious. Super Sponge. Lewd concept out. This one isn't about my fan series Super Sponge, which you guys should definitely check out, by the way. This is about the 2001 2.5D platform game Super Sponge, and people found images deep inside the game files that were so inappropriate I'm not even gonna put them in this video. You guys are welcome. Texas, deleted scene. This one isn't necessarily a scene, I don't think. It's more like just a 1-second visual gag that never made it into the final episode. Still interesting stuff though. SpongeBob Rehydrated, 2003. This was a 3D animated SpongeBob show that was a parody of The Matrix, and aired on Nickelodeon back in 2003, in the style of a fake teaser trailer, leading many people to believe this was an actual episode of SpongeBob that became lost media, until it was revealed in 2017 that there was no actual episode. Golden real-life replica of SpongeBob's house. Pretty self-explanatory. This is a replica of SpongeBob's Pineapple House at Nickelodeon Hotels and Resorts. We are now in the deepest section of this iceberg. I have no clue what we are getting ourselves into, but let's find out. SpongeBob Invader Pants and Krabs' Army. These are actual confirmed episodes that never got made. One involving SpongeBob and Sandy trying to contact aliens from outer space, and the other being about Mr. Krabs putting SpongeBob and Squidward in a boot camp. One theory as to why these episodes never got made is that it was around the same time the second SpongeBob movie was being made, which affected the production of episodes, so much so that there was an entire year of like no episodes airing on TV. Tree. This is a guy on YouTube known for making some very disturbing and creepy animations of SpongeBob, along with some other IPs. I've actually been subbed to his channel for like a decade. His videos are psychotic, but in a good way. The Paper's Climax. I don't know why this is on the iceberg, but Squidward actually goes insane at the end of this episode and gives his entire house to SpongeBob. It's pretty funny. Pre-hibernation week, alternate ending. Man, this one's a mystery too. All I could find was what I think is just a badly written alternate ending by some fan on DeviantOut. Sandy gets arrested. This is something that actually did happen in the show. She got arrested in the season 7 episode Someone's in the Kitchen with Sandy, an episode many people do not like. And I personally have made a video about once on an old YouTube channel of mine half a decade ago, talking about how bad of an episode it is. And maybe one day soon I will make an updated review of it, because it really is a bad episode. SpongeBob and Patrick Doppelgangers. These were tall and more humanoid characters that look like SpongeBob and Patrick and would have been in the special Dunces and Dragons. Apparently the SpongeBob one was gonna be voiced by the same voice actor of Squidward, which is pretty funny. Gary being milked. I never knew about this, but there was originally gonna be a scene in the season 5 episode New Digs where Gary is shown being milked. And now, thanks to this iceberg video, I have Gary being milked in my search history on Google. Thank you. Squidward gets run over by a truck. So, when looking into this one, I found a meme where Squidward is wearing a pair of headphones, and a truck just shows up from nowhere and runs him over. And I don't know if this video is what the iceberg was referencing, but it was pretty funny. Sandy's original naked design. I really did not want to look this one up on Google, and what I found was pretty disturbing, but luckily not in the way I thought it would be. This nightmare fuel is what Sandy was originally gonna look like in the episode Someone's in the Kitchen with Sandy. Plankton taking out SpongeBob's brain. This one goes kinda deep. In the season 1 episode Plankton goes inside SpongeBob's head and takes control of his brain. This episode has a happy ending, of course, but some people have theorized that this actually did some damage to SpongeBob's brain over time, which is why SpongeBob is shown to be a lot more stupid in post-movie SpongeBob. Not a bad theory. Drowning fan incidents. Yup, it's time to talk about this one. Back in September 2002, a rumor began to spread about a child who was on a cruise ship and saw a pineapple in the ocean, jumped in to try to find SpongeBob, and ended up drowning. This would be very tragic if it actually happened, but thankfully though, none of it did actually happen. You'll never guess what I found in my pants. Great, now there's gonna be audio on the internet of me saying that. Apparently, SpongeBob said that in the original airing of the episode Run Crab's Trash, before they changed it to have him say,
You'll never guess what I found in my sock last night. Go ahead, guess.
This one is also fake, but I feel like that should be kinda obvious. Mr. Puff is in Shell City. This is a popular theory that Mrs. Puff's husband got kidnapped by the Cyclops, and is one of the pufferfish that we see at Shell City in the SpongeBob movie. Well guys, that's gonna be it for this video. That's it for the iceberg. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to like, share, subscribe, and let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Cartoon Post out.